According to the National Electrical Code, wet niche underwater pool lights have specific grounding requirements. These requirements primarily involve an equipment grounding conductor and bonding. A number 8 American wire gauge or larger bare copper equipment grounding conductor must be run from the light fixture to the electrical panel's grounding bar. This conductor provides a low resistance path for fault currents. The metal housing of the light fixture must be bonded to the rebar or metal frame of the pool structure using a number 8 American wire gauge or larger copper bonding wire. This bonding wire ensures that the fixture is at the same electrical potential as the pool water, reducing the risk of electric shock. In most cases, a ground rod is not required for grounding wet niche underwater pool lights. The equipment grounding conductor and bonding wire provide sufficient grounding protection. The wires used for grounding should be number 8 American wire gauge bare copper or green insulated copper. The polyvinyl chloride conduit used for wiring the light should be watertight and sealed at all connections. All connections should be made according to National Electrical Code guidelines and local electrical codes. It is strongly recommended to hire a licensed electrician to perform the wiring and grounding of pool equipment. The primary goal of grounding and bonding is to protect people from electrical shock. The equipment grounding conductor provides a low impedance path for fault current to return to the source, which causes the overcurrent protection device, such as a circuit breaker or fuse, to open and energize the circuit. Bonding, on the other hand, connects metallic parts together to equalize their electrical potential, which minimizes the risk of voltage differences that could cause a shock. Here's a more detailed explanation of each component. The equipment grounding conductor, often referred to as an EGC, is a critical safety component in electrical systems. Its primary function is to provide a low impedance path for fault current to flow back to the source in the event of an electrical fault. This low impedance path ensures that the overcurrent protection device, such as a circuit breaker or fuse, will quickly trip, to energizing the circuit and preventing electrical shock or fire hazards. The equipment grounding conductor is typically a bare or green insulated copper wire. The size of the equipment grounding conductor is determined by the size of the circuit's overcurrent protection device, as specified in the National Electrical Code Table 250.122. For example, a 20 amp circuit requires a number 12 American wire gauge copper equipment grounding conductor, while a 30 amp circuit requires a number 10 American wire gauge copper equipment grounding conductor. In the context of wet niche underwater pool lights, the equipment grounding conductor plays a vital role in ensuring safety. It connects the metal parts of the light fixture to the electrical panel's grounding bar, providing a direct path for fault current to flow back to the source. This low impedance path ensures that any fault current will quickly trip the circuit breaker, to energizing the light fixture and preventing electrical shock hazards in the pool. Bonding is another essential safety measure in electrical systems, particularly in areas where water is present, such as swimming pools. Bonding involves connecting all metallic parts of an electrical system together to equalize their electrical potential. This equalization minimizes the risk of voltage differences between conductive surfaces, which could cause electric shock if someone were to come into contact with two surfaces at different potentials. In the context of wet niche underwater pool lights, bonding is crucial for ensuring the safety of swimmers. The metal housing of the light fixture must be bonded to the rebar or metal frame of the pool structure using a number 8 American wire gauge or larger copper bonding wire. This bonding wire ensures that the fixture is at the same electrical potential as the pool water, reducing the risk of electric shock. The bonding wire should be connected to all metallic parts of the pool structure, including the rebar, metal frames, and any other conductive surfaces that could become energized. The connection should be made using listed bonding connectors, which are designed to provide a reliable and corrosion-resistant connection. While a ground rod is not typically required for grounding wet niche underwater pool lights, it may be necessary in certain situations. A ground rod is a metal rod that is driven into the earth to provide a direct connection to ground. It is typically used in situations where the soil is highly resistive or where the electrical system is not effectively grounded. In the case of wet niche underwater pool lights, a ground rod may be required if the local electrical inspector determines that the equipment grounding conductor and bonding wire do not provide sufficient grounding protection. This determination may be based on factors such as the soil conditions, the size of the pool, and the presence of other electrical equipment in the area. If a ground rod is required, it should be installed in accordance with the National Electrical Code Article 250. The ground rod should be driven into the earth to a depth of at least 8 feet and should be connected to the electrical system using a number 6 American wire gauge or larger copper wire. The connection should be made using a listed grounding clamp, which is designed to provide a reliable and corrosion-resistant connection. The National Electrical Code provides specific guidelines for the installation of wet niche underwater pool lights. These guidelines cover a variety of topics, including grounding, bonding, wiring, and overcurrent protection. Some of the key National Electrical Code requirements for wet niche underwater pool lights include: firstly, the light fixture must be listed for use in wet locations. Secondly, the light fixture must be installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. Thirdly, the light fixture must be grounded using an equipment grounding conductor and bonding wire. Fourthly, the wiring for the light fixture must be installed in a conduit that is watertight and sealed at all connections. Fifthly, the circuit for the light fixture must be protected by a ground fault circuit interrupter, which is a device that detects ground faults and quickly to energize the circuit. It is important to consult the latest edition of the National Electrical Code for the most up-to-date requirements for wet niche underwater pool lights. Local electrical codes may also have additional requirements that must be followed. Hiring a licensed electrician is strongly recommended for the wiring and grounding of pool equipment. Licensed electricians have the knowledge, skills, and experience to safely and effectively install electrical systems in accordance with the National Electrical Code and local electrical codes. They can also help to identify potential hazards and ensure that the electrical system is properly grounded and bonded to protect swimmers from electric shock. When hiring an electrician, it is important to verify that they are licensed and insured. You can check their license status with your state's licensing board. You should also ask for references and check their online reviews to get an idea of their reputation and quality of work. In summary, wet niche underwater pool lights require specific grounding and bonding measures to ensure safety. An equipment grounding conductor and bonding wire are typically required, while a ground rod may be necessary in certain situations. It is important to consult the National Electrical Code and local electrical codes for the most up-to-date requirements. Hiring a licensed electrician is strongly recommended for the wiring and grounding of pool equipment. Always prioritize safety when working with electricity, especially in areas where water is present.